I was just talking about, can anybody speak to how the social and emotional aspect of what we're dealing with, talking about the different schedules. I know some people have, children in person, children on virtual, but how do you see that social and emotional aspect affecting your home?
In the spring, when all of this first started and everybody was pretty much on shutdown, it was interesting to see. I had my college daughter home, and she was in her room doing her online classes, and the teenager in one room during her ninth grade classes. I was in the office trying to manage my job responsibilities. My husband, he was still having to go to work every day, and so that was challenging because we were all worried, well, don't bring COVID home. And nobody knew what was going on. So it was just a lot of anxiety, trying to manage everything going on. I was stepping into mother role probably way more than ever because I'm okay, make sure you're doing this and make sure you're doing that, and trying to balance my work, which was stressful in itself. So that to me, that was pretty challenging. Of course, we made it through, and it seems like the teachers were a lot more flexible in the spring. This summer, I found myself really kind of sad and feeling really depressed with having to be at home all of the time and not having to work when we were out. Just missing that normalcy of a routine, and or even during the summer being able to go out and do things that you enjoy, go swim and go to the mall where you couldn't do any of that. You were just at home. So that was really challenging. But when it was time to go back to work, I actually was excited to go. I was worried about COVID, but I was glad to get back into that routine, I think, for my own mental health and socially, missing talking to people. I remember getting with some of my girlfriends, and we did a couple of Zooms just because we would get together and go out to eat and this and that. I miss those kinds of things. So being able to visit with them, even if it was virtually, was very helpful for me socially and mentally, and just adjusting to this whole thing. And now I kind of feel better again, been back to work, everybody's back in school. We feel better with where we are with COVID. So
Yeah, yeah.
My household, in the spring, there were four of us at home, and you have two introverts and two extroverts. Two of us were going crazy because we like being out, we like being around people, and to have to stay home. At first it was fun, we did family movies, played games, and did all that to keep ourselves busy. But after a while, you're like, okay, this is boring. What's next? But on one hand, my son, who is an introvert to a T, but needs to be in a structured classroom environment to succeed in school, was struggling. He didn't care about the social aspect of not being at his university anymore. It was, I'm a physics major and I need help. I need, his professor needing assistance. So he was struggling on the inside, and noise, and like my daughter and I are playing games and he's like, quiet, I'm trying to do my work. So our household was totally chaotic. It was hard. And I, like Ton, looked forward to going back to school in August because I wanted an out. I wanted to be able to get out of my house. I couldn't do anything else but to say that I have to go to work. I can't stay home. I have to. So I was excited. I wore my mask, all the PPE, everything that we had to do in order to stay safe. I was willing to do that if that meant that I could get out of my house and have some adult time and conversation with other extroverts who enjoy being around people as well. So it has been difficult to adjust, and I think everybody has adjusted. Even now I'm 6 people in the house, 3 of them online, about to be 4 online. It's quite an adjustment, but my extrovert child has gotten a job. So she's learning virtually at home with school, but she's excited about going to her job every evening just to push a cart out to somebody's car, just so she can get some people interaction. So it's been good.
All right. Of you all, I was fine in March. Like I was like, I liked everything slowing down, and I just felt, so complete and so whole. But come about June or July, it was too much. It was too many people here for too long. Because by that time my son was back home from college. So now, and he still got that college spirit in him. And so I'm just like, oh goodness. But here recently, I think I went through that, just not being able to have that degree of separation and having to be all things to all people. And so just yesterday, Anasia was saying, oh, Mommy, you're always just so busy. You're just, you play the nurse so well, and you just play the teacher so well. Or, you're just doing it all. And I said, yeah, I'm playing the nurse and the teacher so well that I can't play Dawn well. Right. And she said, well, when you go to sleep. And I said, oh, thank you for when I sleep. Right. Yes, I can be myself in my sleep. And that's why I sleep in sometimes, so I can still be myself for a little longer, because when I wake up, I'm going to have to be somebody else. So, and that's really what it has been. And so just trying to now, like I said, trying to find that balance, and I have to have some outside time. So now, where I said before, I'm not going to go, to the gym at all, because it's just not safe. Now I have to find the hours that not anybody is there, because I'm going to have a time where I'm not with everybody else. I can't. I love them, and I love being whoever I am to them, but those have time limits.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, I was just like you. In March, I was fine. I mean, because my life is constantly on the go. So it forced me to sit down and rest. I mean, like, I don't think I got that much sleep ever in life. Mm-hmm. So I was good. And I went to the doctor for my just regular annual checkup. And she said, how are you holding up? Because most of you, well, you probably don't know, I suffer from depression. And so, I have to go every year to get checked up and to see how the meds are working. And, she was like, well, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm good. And she's like, are you taking your meds? I was like, I don't feel like I need them. Like, I feel like all I needed was sleep. And she said, well, Brittany, I'm just going to tell you, you may be okay right now, but, things may not be okay down the road. So just take your medicine. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be good. But like, come around maybe June, I started to feel different. I think it was Miss Barnett said that, you play the games, the family games, then the daycare shut down. And I think that's when my world changed. So, having a 2-year-old at home, stay-at-home moms, hats off. That's not my calling. Jesus did not call me to do that. But I was forced to be a stay-at-home mom for about a month with a 2-year-old who is very active and likes to be around people. But, for the first couple of weeks, it was okay. I mean, I found stuff to do. We got the jumping beans and we got water slides, all that stuff was fun. But then it's like, okay, now, are we still in the pandemic? I mean, I thought it would be over by now. Is the world still shut down? What am I supposed to do? So I felt myself going into a depression, because I am used to being on the go so much. And being forced to sit down too long was too much for me. So I did have to tell my friends, I mean, when the restaurants come up, I need brunch and I need a little spirit to go with my brunch, because like Dawn, I felt like I was trapped in my head. Like, I felt like the walls were closing in on me. You can't go anywhere except outside. And then it was hot. And so, it was just, I was not in a good space. That happy place that I was in March, it completely flipped on me in the middle of summer. And I too had to go on vacation. I said, we have to get out of this house. Like, I have to get out of here, because I am literally drowning in my own thoughts, but they're not even productive thoughts. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, I mean, it just, and the silence, like, it was too much. So I was happy to go back to work, but I did want to teach online in my classroom. Like, it's like, you may have to, go into the building and teach online. That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with going in the building as long as it's just me.
Yeah.
I was fine with that. But when they told me, that we were going to have to do I would have to be a face-to-face teacher. And the way that the schedule worked out, I had to see every child in the building. And so I would see every child in the building by Friday. So I would have 3 classes on Monday, 3 different classes on Tuesday, 3 different classes on Wednesday, 3 different classes on Thursday, and 3 different classes on Friday. My anxiety shot through the roof. And, and I told my principal, like, I get it, like, because, I'm considered a connections teacher. So all kids have to go through connections, but we've got to do something different, because exposing us to every child in the building is more than what my diagnosis can handle. I'm very upfront with him about that. So we've done some creative things with the scheduling. I'm really thankful that I do have a principal now who heard me. And so it won't be as many students that I'm exposed to. I'm still exposed to a variety of students. So it's not just like one age group where, 6th grade, you're only exposed to 6th grade, and 7th grade, I still have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that I have to be face-to-face with. But it's not as many as before. So we're still working on that whole mental health piece. Like I said, I can speak on it because I lived it. I know what the pandemic did to my mental health. So it really is a challenge. Every day is a struggle. It is a true struggle every day. So I understand where the college students are coming from. I understand where I know some other people spoke about their mental health. So I get it.
Yeah.
Brittany,
Thank
you're
you for being
so
brave.
right. It's just, thank you for expressing that and being transparent. I too have struggled like lifelong depression. So the pandemic just compounded it. And it looked all too familiar of dark places that I've been in my life. It was easy to isolate. It was easy to stay in the bed. It was easy not to pull the covers down. And you have to work really hard to just move from the bed to the recliner. Like, that's a struggle for me, where some people don't get that. But when you're isolated in your home on quarantine, taking that 10 feet was like, I don't know, God, if I can do this today. I just don't know. So this whole thing is just adding more. And then the anxiety peaked when the thought of going back to school, and my interaction too is with everyone on campus. Not just a classroom of kids, but teachers, students, parents, everyone on campus. And so, getting depressed by thinking about it, getting anxious about it, and it was just too much. So bring on more meds, and I'm just going to stay at the house, and that way everybody will be safe, because it just wasn't going to work for me, and so I applaud y'all who struggle and still are facing it, because like you said, my diagnosis, that was more than I could handle. It was just too much. It was going to be too much, and it was going to be harmful to myself and my family mentally, and then you have that risk of being exposed physically. So it was just more than I could just even wrap my mind around. And so I felt like my body said, just sit still, just sit still right now.
And I think sometimes what we do just with decisions in life, we'll make a decision concerning something and leave somebody out, like the most important component. So we made or I didn't make it, but a decision was made concerning, children and families, and not considering the people who are going to have to teach them. And so I think that component was left out. And so we were concerned about, children's mental health, and we were concerned about, families, working families, people having to get back to work or whatever, but never understanding, first of all, that the teachers have families too. Even with those who don't have children, they're still interacting with families, siblings, or parents or something. And so I think that was just a part. We were trying to make it convenient and better for everybody else, but that was a huge component for teachers who still have children. That if I have to be a teacher and be an in-person teacher, but I'm trying to make a decision for my kids to stay at home,